1 августа. И я не знаю, что мне делать.
TikTok, you don't stop, stop to the TikTok, you don't stop, stop to the TikTok, you don't stop, stop to the TikTok, you don't stop, stop to the
Bluetooth connected.
Да, я посмотрю свои кассеты.
Come inside, take off your coat, I'll make you feel at home. Now let's pour a glass of wine, cause now we're all alone. I've been waiting all night, so just let me hold you close to me. Cause I've been dying for you, girl, to make love to me. Girl, you make me feel real good. We can do it till we both wake up. Girl, you know I'm hooked on you. And this is what I'll do. I wanna sex you up all night. I want you up to sex you up. Let me take off all your clothes. Disconnect the phone so nobody knows. Yeah. Let me light a candle so we can make it better. Making love until we drown. Yeah. Girl, you know it feels real good. We can do it till we both wake up. Girl, you know I'm hooked on you. And this is what I'll do. Yeah. I wanna sex you up. Make it up until we drown. I wanna sex you up. Just make me feel so good. I just want to look at you. Don't say anything. Just lay back. Get your ride. Yeah. All I wanna do is sex you up all night. I want you to sex you up. Makes me love it all night long. I wanna sex you up. Feels so right, it can't be wrong. Don't be shy, girl, get with me. I wanna sex you up. Open up your heart and I'll set you free. Oh, I wanna take you in all the right places, baby. I wanna make love to you. All night, yeah. Sitting here in this chair, waiting on you. Oh, baby, say things my way, but not a word do you say. Your way, but look my way. Yeah. Girl, I'm spending my dimes, wasting my time, talking till I'm black and blue. Oh, can't you see? I wanna get next to you. Dreams of you and I go sailing by. Whenever your eyes meet mine, you're so fine. And girl, you make me feel so insecure. You're so beautiful, pure. Why must you be unkind and tell me I'm not your kind? You're blowing my mind. Girl, my money is low, and I know that I can't take you to the fancy places you might wanna go. Still, I wanna get next to you. I wanna get next to you. Whatever it takes to please you, I'm willing to do. 'Cause you're my dream come true. And I wanna get next to you, baby. I wanna get next to you. I wanna make you mine for all time. I wanna get next to you. I promise.
Empath take all the necessary preparations before facing their battles in life. Super empaths discipline and train themselves to be ready for combat and become victorious in the end. Super empaths' battles include a war against their greatest nemesis, the narcissists, who resemble evils and demons because of their unpleasant behaviors and malicious intentions towards other people. Most, if not all, super empaths are spiritual and believe that there is a God above who will back them up in their fight against the narcissists. What will happen when super empaths suit up for war? Number 1. Super empaths fasten the belt of truth. Super empaths are genuine people who persevere in upholding and exposing the truth about themselves and against the narcissists. Super empaths hold tightly to the truth regarding their identity that God has given them, freed from slavery, sealed, and now children of God. Super empaths are firm believers of God. Super empaths embody the meaning of the truth will set you free. Super empaths' belt of truth will shield them against the narcissist's manipulative tactics to confuse and brainwash them regarding their personalities. Narcissists hold no truth as they are expert liars, bringing nothing but confusion and deception. Before taking down the narcissists, super empaths survey and study their rivals by extracting all information about them that super empaths may use as weapons to destroy their enemies. Super empaths exposes the truth about the narcissist's unpleasant personalities, awful attitudes, and evil intentions. Simply put, super empaths reveal narcissists' true colors, which are nothing but darkness. While narcissists possess darkness inside them, super empaths shine their light for people to see the truth. With this, narcissists will never win against super empaths as supported by Bible verse, the light shines in the darkness and the darkness has not overcome it. Number 2. Super empaths put on the breastplate of righteousness. Super empaths are principled and morally upright individuals. They value justice and pursue it as if it is their greatest reward when achieved. Super empaths will never be defeated by narcissists, as evidenced by the New York best-selling author John Connolly in his book entitled The Infernal. This book states that no matter how hard evil tries, it can
I was young, I was always told if you shaved, it would grow back faster. And so at a young age,
how hard evil tries, it can never quite match up to the power of good because evil is ultimately self-destructive. Evil may set out to corrupt others, but in the process corrupts itself. The narcissist's wickedness will never destroy Super Empath's breastplate of righteousness. It may seem like narcissists are winning a battle as they try to dominate the world and cause so much destruction to other people through deceit, violence, manipulation, gaslighting, victim blaming, and the like. However, Super Empaths believe that God is silently at work. God will never abandon his people. It is only a matter of time for narcissists to taste their defeat. This is my message to you. My dear super empaths, never get tired of doing what is suitable for your reward is ready as this Bible verse states. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Stand firm, stay alert, and do not let your guards down. Do not let the world and the narcissists consume and confuse you. Number 3. Super empaths wear the shoes of readiness given by the gospel of peace. Super empaths are like scouts. They're always ready and always on the go. Spiritual super empaths take refuge in the gospel of peace, giving them not the spirit of fear, but courage and preparedness. No matter where your feet may bring you, fear no evil and be courageous. May these Bible verses encourage you to keep fighting the good fight. Joshua 1 verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Psalm 23 verse 4. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Super empaths, listen carefully. Always know that you are not alone in this fight. God is with you to protect you from the evil ones. Narcissists can never take down a super empath as they are always ready for combat and fully equipped with the armor of God, which gives them peace, courage, and endurance to withstand the narcissist's evil ploys. Super empaths choose a readiness given by the gospel of peace will keep them moving forward and not let them retreat from any battle. It will never let them down. Instead, it will guide them to the right path, and they shall never wander in confusion. Super empaths has the roadmap to victory imprinted on their hearts by the Holy Spirit. Number 4. Super empaths take up the shield of faith. Super empaths put a massive trust in their faith in God to shield them against the wicked. May this Bible verse encourage you to keep your faith with you. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is about having the presence of God that overshadows all fears. Super empath's shield of faith is too sturdy for narcissists to destroy. Narcissists may appear solid and fearless creatures, but they do their best to hide their fears as they do not want to look like underdogs or weaklings. Narcissists' greatest fear is when super empaths take off their fancy masks and all their insecurities and fears are being exposed to the public. It will be such a great humiliation on the part of the narcissists. Now, super empaths who are good at setting up boundaries, plus having the shield of faith, will never allow narcissists to trespass their private lives and ruin their peace of mind. Narcissists may be experts at recruiting flying monkeys to spread rumors and smear campaigns against the super empaths. Narcissist schemes will never be effective and will never shake the faith of super empaths. Number 5. Super empaths wear the helmet of salvation. Super empaths' helmet of salvation protects their heads and minds from being infiltrated with deceit and manipulation by the narcissist. No matter how tempting and convincing narcissists' fancy and filtered words are, super empaths will always hold on to the truth to avoid the lies of these evil ones. Narcissists may attempt to recruit super empaths in their club composed of wicked people who spread nothing but unrighteousness. Super empaths' helmet of salvation always remind them that they have been saved by grace and freed from the world's sins. Super empaths will never join the group of the evil ones. Super empaths' loyalty and devotion belong to the Lord, their mighty Savior. Number 6. Super empaths are equipped with the sword of the Spirit. Super empaths' greatest weapon is not the physical sword, but the spiritual sword, which is God's word. Narcissists may use all kinds of weapons against super empaths and hurt them physically or emotionally. They will never break the spirit of super empaths as the word of God protects their souls. In contrast, narcissists' greatest weapons include manipulation, violence, gaslighting, trauma bonds, victim blaming, and the list goes on. These weapons are not equal with super empath's best weapon, which overpowers all negativity, toxicity, and wickedness, the word of God. To all people watching this video, remember to pray when attacked by evil people like narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, and the like. I believe we all have one God. I'll leave you with this Bible verse. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. If you learned from this video, spread some positivity. Give this a like and subscribe to the channel. Binge watch
empaths into 4 groups: standard, codependent, super, and contagion. It is rare for an individual to belong to one school entirely. More usually, they have at least one other constituent part, sometimes 4 in total. Unsurprisingly, I am often met by people who say, HG, I'm a super empath. Well, you might be right, but the empath detector test will tell us whether that is accurate or not. And sometimes those people turn out to be right about who they are. But more often, it is a misguided and misunderstood application, a desire born out of to appear a little more than the individual is, not in a narcissistic way, but a sense of feeling that having endured the behavior of the narcissist and come out the other side, well done for doing so, they believe that they're a super empath. Well, all empaths can achieve that, not just ones which are majority super empath or have a minority element with their school that appertains to super. More often, mid-range narcissists come along and they claim that they're the super empath. Of course, the idea of being super appeals to their grandiosity, the idea that is formed in their mind that the super empath is some kind of superhero that triumphs against the narcissist, against all of the odds, that somehow brings the narcissist crashing down to the ground with much wailing and gnashing of teeth. Those unaware mid-range narcissists are the ones that tell people that you can defeat the narcissist by going toe-to-toe with the narcissist, failing to understand that all you're doing is providing fuel, exposing yourself to an adverse consequence, and of course increasing the already rampant emotional thinking, where the individual is an empath. A cool-headed, logic-applying empath knows go-so is the answer. But that doesn't fit, does it? That doesn't fit with the supposed brilliance of this mid-range narcissist who says, I don't run away, even though, of course, they're a shrivelly walnut bald coward. No. They want to think of themselves as a thrusting and dynamic superhero that has taken on the evil narcissist and broke him. The fact is that those who are super empaths, and they are numerous, although they are amongst the rare category of empath, certainly with regard to majority. Many people will have a minority element that's super, but majority super empaths are rare. The fact remains that they don't break the narcissist because that is not how their super empath qualities manifest. The super empath is an individual who realizes at an earlier juncture than other empaths that something is not right, that something is not appropriate. And yes, they will put up a fight against the narcissist, not for the purposes of trying to break the narcissist, not for the purposes of making the narcissist run away. The narcissist is not afraid of the super empath. What the narcissist experiences is a threat to the control. And that is what the narcissist responds to. No, a super empath utilizes those super empathic traits for the purposes of defending themselves. They don't behave in an offensive way. So when the devaluing behavior of the narcissist starts, they will of course experience and absorb some of it to begin with. Because their emotional thinking is high, they don't necessarily realize that they're dealing with a narcissist. But at a sooner point than other empathic individuals, they will say, enough, and they will fight back. Not, as I say, to try and bring down the narcissist, but they will fight back to defend themselves, to prevent themselves being pushed back, and back. They will defend themselves in terms of drawing a line in the sand. Like Gandalf, they stand there and shall say, you shall not pass. Their role is not to go on the offensive towards the narcissist, whether it's lesser, mid-range, greater, or ultra, but rather to stand their ground. Their makeup of empathic traits is such that they generally have strong narcissistic ones, but also stronger empathic ones. And when they are subjected to the eroding influence caused by the abuse that they are sustaining at the hands of the narcissist, their narcissistic traits of pride, for example, argumentativeness, come to the fore. Their empathic trait of justice shines. So they say, I will argue the position in order to assert that I know that I am right. Of course, they will still fall foul to emotional thinking and will continue to argue in circumstances where they ought to withdraw. But they do not roll over in the same way as other empaths may well do during the course of the devaluation. It isn't about always losing your temper and going nuts with the narcissist. That doesn't necessarily mean that your super empath traits are coming to the fore. But instead, it is about exhibiting resilience, exhibiting a resistance, asserting your position, and then recognizing that it is time to jettison from this. The super empath will battle against the narcissist, but as a defensive response. It is not about deciding that they are going to go on and break the narcissist. That is not the behavior of a super empath. Of course, driven by high emotional thinking, that may cause them to consider taking such steps, but they are more likely to remove themselves from the toxic nature of the narcissist and then look again to defend themselves through their no contact regime. They are not going to embark upon a crusade against the narcissist. Instead, when they are applying their logic with reduced emotional thinking, they know that to go on a crusade against the narcissist would not be effective. And instead, what must be done is to build that wall around them, to sit within the tower to ensure that they are no longer being abused and that they have broken free from the chains that the narcissist has wrapped around them.
Spotlight's top candidates. And if you're a business owner like me, you probably face a lot of challenges when you're trying to find the right candidate for the role. That's where ZipRecruiter really comes in. Based on my experience, it is no surprise ZipRecruiter.
The super empath is made of stern material and is more readily able to resist the negative behaviors that the narcissist engages in during devaluation. This doesn't lead to the narcissist being broken, but what it can lead to is the narcissist disengaging because particular narcissists, the lower echelon ones, are not able to impact on the super empath in terms of the assertion of control. Fuel will still be provided. The super empath will not be able to govern their responses to such an extent as to avoid the provision of fuel. They may, of course, be able to dial down their provision of residual benefits, in effect by striking in terms of the provision of them. But what they are more readily able to do is to become more difficult to control. All narcissists are attracted to super empaths to begin with because they are an empath. However, only certain narcissists are more able to control the super empath. Lower echelon narcissists struggle and therefore are more naturally inclined to choose different empaths to that of super. Of course, they would like to be able to control the super empath, but their narcissism is more discerning with regard to their selection and is more likely to choose, for instance, somebody that is a codependent majority rather than a majority super empath at the outset of the relationship. Once devaluation occurs, the super empath is more readily able to resist the controlling machinations of the narcissist. Of course, a higher echelon narcissist, a greater or the ultra, will enjoy and relish this challenge, an opportunity to flex the manipulative muscles. But mid-rangers and lessers are more likely to break off, as this would result in a disengagement trigger, in effect, caused by either the super empath being too difficult to control, or, in effect, the narcissism recognizes that the super empath is onto the narcissist that has worked them out, and therefore the responses of the super empath have altered accordingly. But it is not the case that only a super empath can break a narcissist. Empaths invariably don't achieve this because their addiction to the narcissist means that certain of their traits keep them locked into the dance with the narcissist, for example, trying to heal and fix the narcissist to get to the truth of what has happened in the relationship, to be compassionate towards the failings of the narcissist that are being exhibited in the relationship, to show decency. And that doesn't mean breaking the narcissist. if it does occur, then any empath from the schools, in terms of the majority, whether majority super, majority contagion, majority standard, or majority codependent, has the potential to topple the narcissistic pillars as set out in my book Revenge, also known as The Assassin's Revenge. But few actually get to that point. The reason being that their natural empathy causes them to decide against taking that action when they have reduced their emotional thinking. Of course, a super empath is potentially more likely to be the type of empath that might move on to an assassin's revenge and topple those relevant pillars. But even they are likely to gravitate towards the no contact revenge rather than seek out the assassin's revenge. And as I've explained, it's not the case that only a super empath can achieve the toppling of these pillars. All empaths have the potential to do it, but whether they will is another matter entirely. Ordinarily, they are unlikely to do so. The reason for this is that if they attempt to do this at a too early stage, their emotional thinking will be too high, and quite simply, they will fuck it up. The assassin's revenge will not be achieved, and it doesn't matter whether it's a super empath or a codependent empath. The attempt to impose the assassin's revenge on a narcissist where the emotional thinking remains too high because it's far too early in the start of the no contact regime means that it will fail. Instead, what must be done is there must be a period of at least 6 months total no contact to reduce that emotional thinking down to the lowest level. And it is at that point, if, and it is a big if, the relevant empath still wishes to embark upon the assassin's revenge and topple the relevant pillars, then they are far more likely to be able to achieve it because they will be doing it from distance, keeping their emotional thinking low, acting like a sniper, utilizing cool, hard logic. Moreover, the narcissist won't know where this is coming from because there'll have been a sufficient passage of time so that the narcissist will not immediately associate these behaviors with the relevant empath and may well think that they are being targeted and attacked at distance from someone else. The problem is that if an empath attempts the assassin's revenge while they have just escaped or recently be disengaged from, their emotional thinking can only be in one place, extremely high. And the problem that they will then experience is they won't do it properly. They will get sucked back into a too close engagement with the narcissist, like hand-to-hand combat. Instead, the empath needs that total no contact period of 6 months. And it doesn't matter which type of empath it is. All of them, if they do that, may, at the end of it, decide to embark upon an assassin's revenge, but many do not, because by that stage, the blood and thunder caused by their heightened emotional thinking has reduced, and they have no interest in that type of revenge. They are content with their no contact revenge. So it is incorrect to state that only a super empath can break a narcissist, because invariably they do not. When it comes to toppling the pillars, most people don't achieve that because they do not have the ability to do so, or they try and do it at too early in a stage with high emotional thinking and fail, or when they do reduce their emotional thinking, they are no longer interested in taking such a step. But if an empath wishes to do that at the end of that 6-month period, then it is not only the super empath that can do it, but codependent, majority contagion, or majority standard can also achieve it. The super empath's ability is more likely to cause disengagement compared to the other empathic victims. That isn't the fact that the narcissist becomes afraid of the super empath. That's nonsense. No, it's basically that the narcissist and the ones that will disengage are more likely to be lesser and mid-range, instinctively recognize that the empath is too difficult to control and thus disengage. The greater or the ultra, will up the stakes. They will not disengage in such circumstances. Instead, they will double down on the control against the super empath. That might, of course, cause the super empath to look to escape. And it is part of the super empath's constitution that when they enter devaluation, they are more likely to resist the devaluing behavior, more likely to trigger disengagement, more likely to look to escape.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made through hours and hours of hardcore gaming. I'm not gaming
level of fitting in depending on their personality and upbringing. For instance, both empath and narcissist are highly sensitive, but the only difference is narcissists are egocentric. Empaths, on the other hand, are sensitive to the world around them.
You're a very sensitive person, aren't you?
When a narcissist meets a super empath, that's where the real world will turn upside down. Narcs will weaken and start losing their minds when a super empath does these 10 things on them. Here is a countdown of 10 things a super empath does that makes narcissists lose their mind. Number 10, when super empaths walk away. Quitting doesn't always mean you have to become a loser in the end. To a super empath, leaving sometimes means reversing the situation and letting a narcissist feel they're not interesting. When a super empath makes a complete detachment and disinterest, like no attention, no energy, no care, no concern, nothing at all, the narcissist will be shaken considerably and will think they have no control of everything. There will be no room for narcissistic supply. Super empaths equals the real deal. What does this mean? With the right time and situation, a super empath can be more mighty than a narcissist. This also means that the super empath should know how to attack, when to attack, and cover up their blind spot. Number 9, when a super empath starts neglecting narcissist. When a super empath cuts the narcissist motive, the narc becomes bothered and troubled. Imagine this. If you naturally do not give them any attention, similarly, not answering their phone calls, not responding to their texts, not replying to their emails, none of that. What will happen to the narcissist? They become disturbed. The narcissist feels futility and is no damn good at manipulating people. Because you are a super empath, you don't make things complicated and make actions straightforward, thus hurting a narcissist's ego. They will feel inadequate and powerless over you. As the famous philosopher and theologian Ibn Hazim said, perhaps 1 hour of neglect may destroy a year's worth of pious effort. Number 8, when a super empath sees through the narcissist. A super empath can see through a narcissist. How? Super empaths have hypersensitivity and high intuition. Seeing narcissists for who they are will be the wake-up call to make the super empath realize that he is more than capable of destroying their plans. Narcissists are deceitful and manipulative in nature, but super empaths know what steps to take. They are 5 or even 10 moves ahead to surely punish the narcissist's evil plans. Super empaths will ready their swords and bombs when things go wrong, and will be at war when a pathetic narcissist strikes. HQ, Narc's plan had been compromised. Number 7, being savagely honest. Nothing gives more relief than honesty. Narcissists are typical liars. They always blame their victims and play the hero. But in reality, they are pretentious and insensitive. They have high regards for themselves, they gaslight, and easily put blame on others. But when the super empath hit them right between the eyes with the cold, hard truth, boom, ego and lies slap back. Exposing the truth is one of their weaknesses. When a super empath spills the truth right in front of their faces, even if they badly don't want to disclose any single fact of their real identity, if that happens, a narcissist will go furious. Narcissists slowly becomes powerless and are stripped away of their individuality. Yes, that's how you do it. Number 6, when super empaths don't take them seriously. If you are a super empath, you have to be unpredictable. One of your tactics include not being serious about their bits and pieces. One of your goals is to erode the narcissist's support base, which means isolating them from those who give support, protection, and narcissistic supply. You've got to play a good role on their drama and be the protagonist. To do this, you have to make the narcissist see that there is nothing special about them. This is part of the game in which you play impervious of their attacks. As narcissistic as they are, they become annoyed and bothered when someone doesn't take them seriously, since they're used to being treated with respect and attention. Number 5, when super empaths treat them with contempt and disrespect. A narcissist is used to being admired and being on top. In their heads, they become more vital when they feel constant support and respect from their circle. They are drawn by power and popularity. When super empaths give narcissists a taste of their own medicine and basically show them disrespect, it will shake the narcissist's core. The narcissist will start to feel an imbalance of their ego. This is where their world will begin to flip. If you are enjoying this video, then subscribing to this channel is inspiring. It turns out that 90% of you watching our videos have not subscribed. So please click that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Also, don't forget to give this video a like. It only takes a second, but it helps a lot in the YouTube algorithm. Number 4, when super empaths ignore narcissist feelings or experience. What goes around comes around. A nightmare to a person is the invalidation of one's emotions. To a narcissist, it's okay to take no notice of someone's feelings, but it will be another story and dilemma when this is done to them. Narcissists are great impersonators by nature. They wear a variety of masks when facing people and act as if they genuinely care. They let you feel they understand and care for you, but in reality, they're just playing to manipulate you. If you are a super empath, you have a crucial role in a narcissist's life. You have to invalidate their sentiments and experiences, letting them feel that people are not for them to control and manipulate. Number 3, when super Number 3, when super empaths place narcissists on the spot. When a narcissist didn't see it coming their way, they become vulnerable. Putting them on the spot in front of others and exposing their lies, exaggerations, incompetence, or where they have fallen short will make them immobile. Unveiling their motives can be their weakness. They are indeed terrified of the truth, mainly if it's about their identity. Because of the super empath's enhanced intuition and instincts, they can expose the narcissist's true form. Super empaths can reverse the situation, thus putting the narcissist in the hotspot. Narcissists will have no time to react to this. Number 2, when super empaths show that they don't care. When you care less or none at all, you feel less affected. Just like narcissists, they're certainly good at pretending that they are into you, but in reality, they don't really care about your well-being. They only think of you as a narcissistic supply. Be not bait to a narcissist. They play good games, and you need to be better to win. While narcissists are busy fabricating tactics, controlling dramas, spreading toxic gossips and conflicts, super empaths just sit in a corner and ignore their measures. Super empaths' goal is not to care about anything involving the narcissist. If you are dealing with a narcissist, always remember, there is power in silence and not caring. Be completely unaffected and unbothered in any way. Be composed and believe in yourself that you've done nothing wrong. You need to exhibit a good, happy, and thriving life to an overblown narcissist. Ignoring the narcissist and focusing on good things in your life will break their mentality. Number 1, declining to engage or fight back. There are times that you have to fight back, and there are times when you refuse. The super empath understands this pretty much. Narcissists are lovers of intensity, chaos, drama, and a target. They like watching their target engage and show vulnerability. They revel in criticisms and verbal attacks. They want complete control of everything and are selfish. When you fight back, they become more dominant and vigorous in attacking you. But when you do the other way around, they repel and become inactive in their next move. Super empath knows when to engage and disengage. When it's time to refuse to fight, the narcissist loses the motive to do so. Pro tip for you: disengaging is your power tool to disembark negative energy from them. Narcissists are naturally good at manipulating and abusing people. It takes a super empath to destroy a narcissist. When you are a super empath, you must be aware of these 10 things to distract your enemy from distracting you. If so, have you done any of these things to a narcissist before? Which one do you think is more compelling for you?
Even with customized car insurance from Liberty Mutual, I customize everything. Like Marco.
People, thank you as always for sharing your time with me. I truly appreciate those of you who come to support this channel and to support those who are striving to overcome narcissistic abuse. I want to talk today about the super empath and their relationship with the covert narcissist. So we all know that the super empath is an empath who is highly aware and highly capable of shutting the narcissist down. And we also know that the covert narcissist is a lot of times super aware as well, and wanting to shut the super empath down. The narcissist wants to destroy everyone and everything in his or her path. But there is something about the super empath that is so intoxicating for the narcissist that he or she cannot rest until they figure out why they cannot get this person out of their mind. They cannot just discard them like they would anyone else, why they feel so obsessed with this person. And the narcissist will begin to recruit other people to become obsessed with this person. I mean, the super empath's light is so strong and their confidence is so great that the narcissist has got to have it. They just got to have this person. I've got to have them to be able to destroy them, because if I can destroy the super empath, I will be all powerful. This is what I believe the narcissist feels. Now, whether or not they're calling you a super empath or, whatever, call themselves a narcissist, all that, all of the labels are just to help you identify what's happening. But the narcissist cannot take it. Why can he not get control of this person? He's able to control and manipulate everyone else, but this particular type of person always figures him out, and he hates it. Let me give you an example of what I mean by figuring them out. So the super empath is the person who's most likely to throw the narcissist's bullcrap right back into his or her face. So my ex used to talk really bad about everyone, but in particular, people who rent. He would go on these rants about people who rent their property and how they don't take care of it the right way. And this is how all renters act in neighborhoods where people own their homes shouldn't allow people who rent to live there. And, yada, 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 yada. Renters just don't care and this and that. Meanwhile, there's a huge crack on his house that he owns that he didn't make any effort to get repair. His plumbing was bad. His toilets were disgusting. His yard was unkept. His bushes were growing out of control. There's phone books for a year sitting on his porch. But he wasn't a renter. And so since he wasn't a renter, it didn't matter if his place looked like shit. It only mattered that theirs looked like crap, which it didn't, because the renters, he would point out, their houses look better. So I would always say, well, you just owned your first home in 2013. Therefore, most of your life you have been renting. Most of your adult life you've been renting. And so when you lived disgustingly, as you claimed your ex-wife was a very disgusting person, and you lived there as well, so I would consider you a disgusting person as well. You were a renter, not taking care of someone else's property. So didn't that make you the same kind of person you're accusing these people of being? And I'm looking at these people's yards and houses, and they're keeping up just fine. So I wasn't really confused what the heck he was talking about. Most of their property, the places they rented, looked better than his. They were taking better care of it. But anyway, he would get so upset, like, you're always saying something like, you think I'm better than other people, and I don't know why you're always talking and saying things and coming at me like that and this and this and that. And I'm like, well, you're talking about people you don't even know when you're not even taking care of your own business. That's the only point I'm trying to make here, bud. So that would make him really, really angry. Oh, and especially if he talked about his ex-wife, and I would throw out how it takes two to tango. You're always dogging her out, calling her out of her name and doing this and that. But what about you? Like, let's talk about what you were doing. And because I can't stand, super empaths have this drive for justice. And when people, when you push that certain button, that, I mean, we're just going to throw it right back at you. And the narcissist cannot stand this. Why can he get over on everyone else and make everyone else feel just as disgusted with renters, or just as disgusted with his ex-wife as he does, but he can't get the super empath to change. The super empath is never on his side, and he needs that super empath as his adversary, because if he can convince that super empath of all of the horrible lies that he's telling, then he has become greater than great. But the super empath never falls for it. They may be caught off guard for a moment, but the super empath starts to sniff out the bull and starts to load it up and throw it back, and constantly throwing the bullcrap back into the bully's face. The super empath is the person who's most likely to stand up to someone who's bullying someone else and say, hey, look, you got to stop. This can't continue to happen. Look at yourself. What are you doing? What are you looking like? The super empath is most likely to stand up and do that. And the narcissist hates it, absolutely hates the super empath for that. And the super empath and the narcissist relationship is one that cannot last long, because the super empath is so aware of what's going on, eventually catches on to all of the bull and just can't deal with it. It makes no sense. It will be considered insanity to continue that relationship. So the super empath just leaves before things get out of control. But the narcissist, being who the narcissist is, sometimes is able to push the buttons of the super empath, and therefore causing this person to go into what's called supernova mode, which means that they're about to turn around and put their fangs into the narcissist, and they're not going to let go until they draw blood. And so this is something that the narcissist brings on themselves, and they can't pin this person down. They can't stop the unmasking from happening, the exposure from happening, and the narcissist is losing his or her damn mind. They're basically collapsing before you because they cannot get control of this superpower that is before them, that has not only figured them out, but figured out how to dodge all of their blows, their lies, and continues to overcome every roadblock standing in front of them, because the super empath is focused on shutting the narcissist down. And whatever is in the way of that must be moved to the side so that the super empath can continue the journey of getting the whack job taken care of. So, super empath and the narcissist. These are two really superpowers together, one for evil and one for good. And the narcissist can't stand it. The narcissist wants to, the narcissist will pull out all the stops. They will purposely pick out a new supply who is toxic enough to be on their side so that they can go after this person because they know that going alone is not going to help them. And more than likely, bringing another person along is just going to get the fangs dug into them even deeper. But they're willing to take a chance, whatever they can do. And they continue to fail against the super empath over and over and over again. They never win. In the situation with the super empath and the narcissist will always take the L. They won't just take it. It's like handing their ass to them. The super empath is going to hand the narcissist his or her ass. Here's your L, take it. Because if you don't, I'm just going to keep going until I feel like justice has been served for those whom you have destroyed in your path. And you thought you were going to add me to the pile of bones. But let me tell you what, buddy, I was sent here to avenge others. And the super empath is the super rescuer when it comes to people who are in need, who are down and out, those who are unwilling to use their voice to speak up. The super empath is usually the person who's going to stand up and fight for what is right. So while everyone is going left because it's what's comfortable, the super empath is taking a right. And the narcissist can see this person's greatness a mile away. And they want it. The confidence, they've got to have it.
Baby.
They're reading this person. They're reading the super empath. Like a book, studying them, trying to mimic all of their behaviors, because if they can be like the super empath, the magnetism that will exude from that narc will be powerful.
Hey, 2K, this is you. This is you, 2K.
Will be drawn to the narc who's mirroring the super empath as the narc sucking all of these people dry, victim after victim after victim. Just a running tab of supply. So the super empath figures out that the narcissist is feeding on him or her, and they will not stand for it. When the super empath feels betrayed, he or she goes into supernova mode, and they are going to make sure the narcissist pays for everything, even if that means calling on the help of other great energy. The super empath will not rest until the narcissist pays. This takes a lot out of that person. It takes a lot out of a person who is a super rescuer, someone who has always looked out for the underdog. That is who the super empath is. And the narcissist knows that the super empath was sent to protect others. The super empath is a tool or a ball of energy sent to protect the other light. The narcissist knows that the super empath is stronger, wiser, and far far more capable of shutting them down more than anyone or anything else. So, the narcissist is very obsessed with the super empath. I mean, obsessed. And like I said, it can become a whole operation of people. The narcissist recruits as many people as possible to become obsessed with this person, and everyone is looking and watching and waiting and reporting to the narcissist. I mean, it's like an army of people for one person. One person. And guess what? They still fail. All right. So that's my take on how the dynamics work between the super empath and the narcissist. The narcissist is never going to win. They're never going to win against the super empath, period. Never. Enough is enough, says the super empath. So let me know what your take is on that. What has your experience been like?
The best way for you to psychologically, titled How to Psychologically Torture a Narcissist. What irresponsible lunatic would do such a thing? Well, actually, there's two things here that you need to be aware of right from the get-go. We're not going to be looking at all the various different vicious tactics we could use to cause emotional distress to somebody with a personality disorder. I'm going to show you a few things that will cause an element of distress, but I need to show you the baseline foundation for something else first, because though you don't want to hear it, the truth is the best way for you to psychologically torture a narcissist, to cause them distress, is to heal, is for you to heal. So you came here presumably because you were angry and because you wanted to take revenge. You wanted to torture somebody. Okay, that's fine. I understand. I've been there. We've all been there. But just getting locked into a cycle of vengeance with somebody who's really spent their whole lives since infancy with this PTSD formation, reaction formation, defensive personality, interaction style of being predatory, of being manipulative, of being reaction seeking, the chances are high that if you just try and engage that superiorly qualified, superiorly trained enemy in all-out battle, that you'll simply lose. You're just going to lose. So I don't recommend it from that point of view. The second point of view is really what you need as a human being, though you're angry, though you're hurt right now, is you need to heal. What's the secondary advantage of healing? Well, actually, this is going to cause more distress to the narcissist and is going to keep your karma clean at the same time. Is it important to keep your karma clean? Yes, I believe that it is important to keep your karma as squeaky clean as you possibly can. So if you really want to live a good life, if you want to move on, you want to move past whatever has been done or been said, then heal. Why would that cause distress? Okay, so you're not now looking to cause distress. You're just looking to heal and get on with your life and keep your karma clean. But the secondary benefit is that that does actually cause distress to somebody who's looking to emotionally and psychologically exploit you and coerce you. Why? Because when we heal, we move away from their sphere of influence. The narcissistic psychopath is all about their control over you. And when they lose control over you, they experience massive amounts of anxiety. So if you escape this sphere of influence, this is you running to freedom. There you are, running away and escaping. Let's just make this PG friendly. You're escaping. When that happens, you doing that causes massive amounts of anxiety. In the literature, in psychology, this anxiety has a particular name, and its name is abandonment anxiety. abandonment anxiety. All of the literature that's recently been produced in the last 10, 12 years indicates that narcissism as a system of interactions with a target or series of targets is actually functioning on a desire to control the sense of self. The narcissist has an extremely wounded, extremely damaged sense of self, and their emotions go up and down. They're very emotionally dysregulated. They have very poor ego boundaries. You think of them as being hugely egotistical or of having a big, strong ego. They don't. The ego is weak. It's frail. It's fragile, and they need to be on top of you or on top of the next person in order to feel in control. It's massively a personality disorder that's concerned with regulating feelings of self-esteem, feelings of self-worth, and they're really trying to avoid abandonment anxiety. Somebody in their childhood abandoned them, and they're now terrified that you will do the same thing. They thought, and they may have been correct, because in many cases it does work out this way, that if their crushing sphere of influence is strong enough, you won't run away. You'll remain trapped inside of the sphere of influence until eventually your will to survive simply dies off and you give up. You get stuck inside of their narcissistic shell, their fake reality with them, and without the air and the oxygen of feedback from other humans in the outside world, outside of the narcissistic cult, your soul, your spirit, your essence dies and you give up. And you can see this. Many people have died. You're here because you're either fighting to escape or you have escaped and now you're in an awful lot of pain because having lived inside of the narcissistic sphere of influence, normal reality is going to feel very strange and very uncomfortable for you, depending on how long you're in it for. When you do escape, and you can only escape through authentically and genuinely healing, you will create massive amounts of abandonment anxiety in them, which is extremely distressing, which actually does function as a kind of torture for them. How should you seek to heal in this situation? If you want to inflict the maximum amount of torture, but keep your karma clean, all you're going to do is say, I just have the intent to heal. Nobody can accuse you of wrongdoing for simply stating your God-given right to heal and to want to move forward. So if your intent is simply to heal, your karma will always be clean. You just say, look, I just want to move in the direction of healing. I just want my ego boundaries to be whole, not broken up, not poisoned, not crushed under the evil influence of somebody with a personality disorder who thrives off the pain and suffering of others. There's a little horn and a little horn. I am not a professional illustrator. That may surprise you to know. So if you're crushed under their influence, that's bad. Of course that's bad. Who would deny you the right to be a healed, sovereign, separate, whole individual? Nobody. So your karma is clean when you seek to heal. But when you seek to heal in a way that kind of mirrors a process that we go through as children, because what the narcissist does is they parent themselves and they child you. They put themselves in the parent role, the God role, and you in the role of supplicant. They're the ones running their cult and you are the cult follower. You try and wiggle out of that role, of your role in the movie, and you know what happens? You get tortured. You're the one who's going to be experiencing the emotional distress. So they're now in parent, which puts you automatically in child, unless you know how to fight it. So then in a sort of a strange way, you've attached to them, but you've not attached horizontally as to adults. If we're going to use the transactional analysis model, you're not to adults. You're attached not horizontally, but vertically, because to the narcissist, this is what equal looks like. Ego to ego. This is equal to a narcissist. I am above you. You are below me. It's always vertical. And if you ever try and horizontalize or democratize your communication or the power dynamic, they'll torture you. they'll punish you. They'll come after you, and they'll be sadistic and they'll be brutal in the way that they do that, just to get you back to your role, your original role, which is submission. So they're like, hey, you're getting confused, little slave. I may have to make an example of you here and give you a bit of a beating, which is what they do. So this to them is equal. Obviously, this is not equal. There shouldn't be, in a relationship, you don't want to have this kind of a dynamic going on, because it's really not very healthy. You want it to be like this. So that's your intent. You are looking for something egalitarian, adult to adult. Now, what they forced you to do is to connect with them as a parent, which would be weird, but that's what's happened. And they've also forced you to connect with them, confusingly and simultaneously, as a child. So you, if you really have been in a relationship with somebody who really is NPD, they're not just annoying or arrogant and just say, oh, that person's a narcissist, but they're not really. We're talking about clinical narcissistic personality disorder. You will be forced to simultaneously attach to them. Never equal. They don't do equal. They hate equal. Equal is not on the table. They are either your parent and you're allowed to attach them as a child, or you're pushed into the role of mummy or daddy whilst they're the child. So you're either supplicating to them, submitting to their authority, or you're wiping their bottom. There is no in between. Or you're feeding them, you're taking care of them, you're offering them money, you're offering them time, you're offering them whatever it is. But it's never adult to adult. They loathe that. They're terrified of that, and there's no interest in it, which is why for us as codependents, for the fawn type responder, for the target of narcissistic relationship, when we come to them and go, hey, why don't we talk? Let's talk about how you feel. Let's talk about how I feel. Let's have a one-to-one and figure this out. It never works. They'll either laugh at you and exploit you for your sincerity, or they will fly into a narcissistic rage and they'll punish you. So you're forced to attach to them in this weird way. You'll have two attachments at least. One is to them as child and the other is to them as parent. You consented to neither. You're forced into it. They'll pretend that they're doing this whilst forcing you covertly into this attachment. Then they'll show up, even more confusingly, as both. So they'll show up both as parent and child. That will confuse you. If it's true NPD, this is what happens. And they'll show up as angel and demon. They will force you to be trapped between two towers, two pillars, two polarities that contradict each other, and you will be trapped in a prison. Here's the arm, and this is the chain to the wrist, and they'll put you here, and you're trapped like this. So you're never allowed to go to one polarity. You'll never just have them as parent, because you would handle that. No, it needs to shift between parent, child, parent, child, parent, child. You'll never just have them as angel. There'll be angel, demon, angel, demon. What do I mean by angel and demon? Sometimes they'll show up as your savior, as Christ embodied, the kindest, most compassionate, most empathic, most spiritually aligned human being, egoless, heart is pure, free from desire, free from attachment, so on and so on. And then they'll show up as lustful, corrupted, addicted, materialistic, demonic types. And they'll push you through the cycle of spinning through two different modalities to keep you confused. So back to the healing part, we have to detach as though we were a child detaching from a relationship with an abusive parent. And this, in the literature, is called something I'll show you right now. Let the healing commence. When you're attached to your parent, you're not a separate individual. You are in the attachment. You're bonded to them. Then you're supposed to grow up and you're supposed to individualize. How does this relate back to this concept of torture of the narc, of the narcon, the dark lord, the dark queen in your life? How is this torturing them? Because when you individualize, you heal, which means they no longer have targets to attack. You individualize, which means that you reclaim your agency and sovereignty, in which case you no longer need them, you're no longer leaning on them, you're no longer addicted to them, because right now, if you're in a relationship with MPD, they've bonded you to them. So you're addicted to their presence, you're addicted to their input, even yea, verily, even unto their abuse, you're addicted to that. So if you've individualized and you are regaining your agency and sovereignty, creates torture because it creates terror. This makes them feel like they're losing that sphere of influence over you. If they lose this, you've proven to them that they're not as powerful as their narcissistic wank fantasy of themselves that they have. You're proving that it's false. You are proving that their sense of self is false, is make-believe, is an infantile fantasy. That's a reality that they are working hard to escape. So when you heal and you individualize, reclaim your agency and sovereignty, you're bringing them back to reality that they fought their whole lives to escape. You're damn right this tortures them. You're damn right this terrorizes them, because you're pushing their face back to that, the worst thing that they could possibly imagine. You remember 1984, Room 101? Room 101 for a narcissist. Room 101 in 1984 is part of the torture process to break a person. In Room 101, you face your worst fear. What's in Room 101 for the narcissist? What is in Room 101 for the narcissist? I can share this with you right now. The worst fear for the narcissist, what's in Room 101? She or he thinks that they are like God. She thinks she's a goddess. He thinks that he's a god. All powerful, all knowing, all beautiful, all strong, all whatever it is, whatever that fantasy, that narcissistic wank fantasy they've got. And in Room 101 for them, you simply delete that. You say, but you can't be a god. You can't be a goddess. Why? Because I escaped your sphere of influence. I escaped your sphere of influence. So I've proven, proof positive, that you are not a god. You're not a goddess. You're just a person, and really not a particularly interesting one. That will cause more abandonment terror and more distress than you could possibly imagine, whilst keeping your karma completely squeaky clean. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed that video. If you did, please make sure